Welcome to my channel. I'm Melissa, and this week I'm gonna use two wires, two lengths of 22 gauge wire. I'm using 22 because my stone is on the smaller side. It's actually a bead, briole, whatever you want to call it. It's got a drilled hole in it, but I'm actually just gonna wrap it like a cabochon. Hopefully you won't be able to see the hole, but I'm gonna cut two lengths of wire, about 14 inches in length. Like that, two lengths of wire. Find the approximate center. Now this time it's going to be a little more difficult because you have two wires you have to pay attention to. You gotta keep them separate. You don't want them crossing at all. This one has a kink in the middle, so I'm gonna try to pull it out. My nylon jaws. I like that side, so I'm gonna make this the back. I'll make a 90-degree angle in the wire, trying to keep them together. And up here, do the same thing, 90-degree angle in the other direction. Trying to keep your wires behaving. Once you get it started, it'll hopefully get better and easier to manage. So we'll swing this around, try to cover the hole. Now I'm going to try to wrap this around this wire without crossing my wires. Try not to cross your wires. Don't cross the streams. But first I gotta lift these two up just a little bit so I can sneak these two underneath. Still trying to work these through. It's difficult because you don't want to pull everything out of whack or cross the wires. Like right here, they've crossed. Don't want that, so just keep in mind. I'm going to start. I'm going to grab a pair of round nose pliers and start twisting them, teasing them through. That's what I want. I want the nice, even, going the same direction, doing the same curve. So let's go to this side and see what we can do. See if we can do this a little better on this side without kinking up the wire too much. I tease it through as much as I can with my fingers without losing my stone. Oh. I'm going to try my best to talk through my tutorials instead of doing voiceovers. Oh, see, now it crossed. Dang nabbit. Okay. These coming out that way, these coming out this way. So I got the holes pretty much covered. All right, so do I want the swirls going clockwise or counterclockwise? Since these are at an angle this way, I think I want to go clockwise. So that's where we start shaping our wires to curve the direction that we want them to go. This one is a little kinked at the end, so I'm gonna bend it upward to kind of camouflage those marred and kinked wires, and then start curving it around from there. It's hard to talk and think at the same time here. Talk and work. Like always, working with wires, it's just a lot of messing around and manipulating and coaxing and fiddling and fidgeting and trying to get it the way you want it. The curves up here are looking too kinky to me, so I just gotta work them out. Since I'm using 2 wires, I'm not gonna hammer this piece. And the wires always want to tend to cross, so you gotta be careful. Bottom piece, I want to follow the curve of the stone. And then at some point you just have to commit. I gotta bring these wires underneath here. Trying to decide how big I want the frame to be. Not too big. Yeah, I think I want it to be right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bend these wires. Like that to kind of lock them in place. But I'm not going to tie him down yet until I get this guy where I want it. I want the size of this curve to kind of mimic the one down here. The size, not the shape, really. The shape I want to peak like straight up from the top, from the point. So the bail, it hangs nicely straight up and down. I think that's a good size. I still need to shape it better, but I think for this size, I think it's good. So I'm gonna give that a bend. Okay, I think I'm gonna do my little wraps and then we'll go from there. But I want to cut this shorter so it's easier to wrap around. Yeah, once you do a bunch of these, you'll get a feel for how much wire you need. And then you won't waste so much. But keep your scraps, because you can always make jump rings or clasps or whatever with your scraps, so don't throw them away. I'm not going to tighten that down quite yet. Try not to twist your frame either. I'm so sorry, folks. I just realized the camera wasn't recording. So what I have done thus far is I cut these, I tighten these up, cut them off on both sides. And then I went through and in the center here, I twisted it to tighten it up. And also I separated these out. I put a nice curve in them with my round nose, kind of coax them into a nice curve. And I separated them out, and then I twisted the back. Twisted them right here just like that. Gave them a twist to tighten those up. Same with up here. Gave a twist so everything's nice and tight. So now we should be up to speed. Now it's just a matter of adjusting. I think my stone is pretty tight. That hole is covered. Let's see if we can get this hole covered. That's pretty good. So that's how it is so far. I think I want these bindings closer together. Let me grab a different pliers. Make sure everybody's nice and sharp. I don't know where he's going. Okay. Let's get this guy out. It's not even tight. I haven't completely tightened them down. So let's squeeze these guys together without crossing. Don't want to cross your wires. Sorry. Okay, to put some extra reinforcement, you can put a bar across the back. I think I'm gonna slip these underneath. I think I'm just gonna use one. I think one will be fine. So this is one of the scraps I cut off. Always save your scraps, you never know when you're gonna use it. this is going to come up on this side of the frame. I'm going to wrap it around. I'm not going to completely tie it down yet till I get this side done. So this one I'm going to wrap upward. Doing one wire is much easier than two. Tighten both sides down now. Get 3 wraps if I can. Go back to the other side. Okay, good. I had just enough wire. So that's your reinforcement wire, and you can come to the back and twist it around to make it extra tight. I'm gonna go this way. Oh. Oh, it's just a matter of adjusting everything. I see one little wire poking out the front, so I'm gonna go and snip that guy. So this is still moving, so I need to lock that down. It often looks like a rat's nest in the back, but as long as it looks pretty from the front, I don't care. Let's see. I want that gap to be a little bigger. There we go. That looks better. Stone is secure. Now I just need to adjust the top here. To make my bail, I'm going to use some 20 gauge round wire and a 1/4 inch wooden dowel. I'm just going to coil them around the dowel. This is how I make jump rings as well. But if you want a simple bail for this type of pendant, this is what I do. I tend to make a long coil so I can go back and snip off whatever I need. But for now, this is good for now. So I'm gonna cut it off there. I like about three coils. So, yeah. I come in here and cut it even with the other cut. If I can get in there. There we are. So I'll just smoosh that back together. Oh, I actually made 4. I can't count, but anyway. So I'm gonna cut that flush too. There we go, and then we feed it on like a keychain. Okay, go through. There. Let's see how it hangs. it hangs pretty straight up and down. I'm happy with how it hangs. It's a little kinky through here, so I always try to work with that. So I think I'm gonna oxidize this, antique it in other words, and I can come back when I'm done and show you the results. So that's where we're at so far. Not too shabby.